Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, we're continuing today, inshallah, our talk about Sayyidina Musa, Prophet of Allah, Moses, alayhi salam. And last week, we ended our talk by saying that Sayyidina Musa escaped from Egypt and ran into the desert to escape from the soldiers of Pharaoh, because they were ordered to kill him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided him toward the city of Madian, where there is a prophet living there. His name is Prophet Shu'aib alayhi salam. When Sayyidina Musa arrived at the border of the city of Madian, there was a well, and shepherds were gathered around the well to bring water for their herd, for the sheep and goats. And on the side, he found two women standing on the side. They couldn't do anything. So he went and asked them, what's the problem? And they said to him that our father is old. So in other words, we don't have a man to take care of water, getting water for the sheep. And we cannot push our way in the middle of the men who are the shepherds who are there watering their sheep. So we have to wait until they finish, then we can bring water for our sheep. As we said, Sayyidina Musa was very strong, very powerful. So he pushed his way through the shepherd and brought water to the sheep of those two women and got them the water and then moved away. And then he raised his hand to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and said, "Oh Allah, I'm poor, so help me." He's hungry. He took off in the middle of the desert without any provision, nothing. So he asked Allah, help me. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, فَجَاءَتْهُ إِحْدَاهُمَا تَمْشِي عَلَى اسْتِحْيَاءٍ قَالَتْ إِنَّا أَبِي يَدْعُوكَ لِيَجْزِيَكَ أَجْرَ مَا سَقَيْتَ لَنَا فَلَمَّا جَاءَهُ وَقَصَّ عَلَيْهِ الْقَصَصَ قَالَ لَا تَخَفْ نَجَوْتَ مِنَ الْقَوْمِ الظَّالِمِينَ. Then one of the two women came to him walking shyly. She said, my father, Sayyidina Shu'aib, turned out that they are the daughter of the Prophet of Shu'aib. My father, Sayyidina Shu'aib, invites you that he may give you the reward for your having watered for us. So when he came to him and narrated to him his story, Sayyidina Musa told him his story. Sayyidina Shu'aib said, fear not, you have escaped from the unjust people. What we can learn from here, Allah is telling us, when somebody do something good for you, reward them. Some people do good to them and they think, it's my right, it's my privilege. Reward people. When somebody does something good to you, reward that person. If you don't have anything to reward them by thanking them, by making dua for them. So always remember, when Allah sends you somebody to do something good, reward that person. Sayyidina Musa refused to take a reward because whatever good he's doing, helping others, he's not doing it waiting for reward. He's doing it for the sake of Allah. So he refused to take any reward for watering the sheep for the two girls. So one of the women find the solution for him. قالت إحداهما يا أبت استأجره إن خير من استأجرت القوي الأمين. Said one of them, oh my father, hire him. Surely the best of those you can hire is the strong, the trustworthy. We said he's strong, and they saw that because he pushed his way in the middle of all the men and was able to get to the well and bring the water to them. And he's trustworthy because he never tried to take advantage of them. Most of the people will say, oh, there are two women, their father is old, let me take advantage of those two women. But he didn't. After he got them the water, he walked away. So he's a person to be trustworthy. And this is something we have to understand. It's a character of all prophets. All prophets, they have this in common. They are trustworthy. Because think about it. How can I believe somebody who tells me there is God up in the heaven that I cannot see if he's not trustworthy? If he's a cheater, how can I believe him? So every prophet has to be trustworthy. And we as Muslims, we have to be trustworthy. So Sayyidina Shu'aib said to him, قال إني أريد أن أنكحك إحدى ابنتي هاتين على أن تأجرني 8 حجج فإن أتممت عشرا فمن عندك. He said, I desire to marry one of these two daughters of mine to you, on condition that you should serve me for 8 years. But if you complete 10, it will be of your own free will. It's bonus if you stay 10. This verse teaches us a lot of things. The first thing that it teaches us, there is nothing wrong about a father when he sees somebody good to say, why don't you marry my daughter? We have a lot of cultural problems that say, I'm going to ask somebody to marry my daughter. They think there is nobody who wants her. Nothing wrong with that. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us. Nothing wrong if you see somebody has good character. You think he will take care of your daughter, that you tell him, why don't you marry my daughter? The other thing that we have to understand, because we have a lot of cultural things that we think they are a part of religion and they have nothing to do with religion. He told him, you can marry one of my two daughters. He didn't say, the oldest one first. If the oldest one does not get married, the younger one was not going to get married. Doesn't matter. Some culture, they say, oh no, it must be the oldest. Allah is telling us, this is not the rule of Allah. This is rule of people that are making culture. So it doesn't matter, the oldest, the youngest, whichever gets married first, doesn't matter. And the other thing that Allah is teaching us as well, Sayyidina Musa is poor. He has nothing. He doesn't even have food. But Sayyidina Shu'aib saw in him that he has good character. And that's why he wanted him to marry his daughter. Some people, all they care about is money. Who cares about money? If your daughter will be miserable, if he's going to abuse your daughter, she married money and she ended up miserable the rest of her life, and maybe ended up in divorce. So Allah is teaching us, don't worry about money, worry about character. If the person has good character, then make sure that's a person you're willing to give your daughter or your sister or whatever to that person. And Allah is saying in the Quran, إِن يَكُونُوا فُقَرَاءَ يُغْنِهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. If they are poor, Allah will enrich them of His bounty. So poor or rich doesn't matter. Can be rich and Allah will make them poor. And they can be poor and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make them rich. But character is what's more important. Another thing that we have to understand from that chapter, from those couple of verses, as human being, as Muslim, we have to be realistic and be flexible. Sayyidina Musa was a prince. He grew up in the palace of Pharaoh as a prince. Everybody scared of him. Hundreds of people obeying his orders. But he is realistic. Now I'm moved to another place and I have nothing. So he accepted to be a shepherd, to work for Sayyidina Shu'aib and be a shepherd. He didn't say, me, I'll be a shepherd? No way. He accepted the job as a shepherd. I'll tell you something that I've seen with my own eyes in 2008, when the economy in the United States was collapsing. Some people, millions of people, lost their jobs. Some people refused to accept jobs that's below their level. And they ended up losing their home to foreclosure. And some people said, I'm going to take any job to get by. They took bad jobs, but at least they had some income. Between their saving and their income, they saved their homes. They were flexible. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us. Be flexible. Don't say, I will not do this. No. If circumstances are different, accept them and be flexible. And then he accepted the job. And he worked for Sayyidina Shu'aib, taking care of his cattle and all of that, 10 years. We never see in the Quran anything that says that he complained. Not one time. He never complained. He's happy. He did the job. And it's kind of interesting, our Prophet ﷺ told us that one of the things that all prophets has in common, they were shepherds. All of them. They took care of herd and took care of sheep and goats. Why is that? Being a shepherd teaches you patience. Because you go from the morning till the evening and you have to sit there. It teaches you hardship because you have to keep walking, looking for area where there is greenery so your sheep can eat. It teaches you to be alert. You cannot sit and take a nap and then a wolf will come and eat some of your sheep. So you have to be on the alert all the time. It teaches you management because you have those sheep, one is going left, one is going right, how you're going to gather them, how you're going to get them to be all together. So it teaches you all the skills that you need to guide people, to be a leader, and to be a prophet. Another thing that we learned from that transaction, Sayyidina Musa, he's from the children of Israel, and he married an Arab woman. Sayyidina Shu'aib was an Arab. And it's a message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's telling us, do not be a racist. I hear it many times. Oh, I'm not going to marry except a Pakistani person like me, an Egyptian person like me, an Algerian like me. Allah is saying, don't be racist. If that person has the right character and is a good person, that's fine. That's all you need. It doesn't matter. Who cares if he's Pakistani like you or Egyptian like you and all of that and makes your life miserable? Who cares? But what you care about is that the person is a person that's decent, and it doesn't matter what nationality that person has. Another thing we learn as well, fulfill your promises. Sayyidina Musa, he made a promise. I'm going to work for you 8 years, and if I'm willing, I'll give you 2 years bonus. What happens if he walked away after 5 years? What can they do to him? Nothing. But we learn as Muslim, we have to fulfill our promise. If you make a promise, fulfill that promise. I've seen many times people, they have a written contract, and then a person find a way to cheat the other partner, and they go to court, and they have a smart lawyer, and they find a way, and they break the contract, and they get away with it. They cheated their partner. Yeah, you won in the court of human being, but you lost in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Who cares? Fulfill your promises. And then he teaches us as well, pay kindness with kindness. Sayyidina Shu'aib asked him for 8 years, and if you want to give me 2 more, that's from you. So he gave him 10. He didn't say, 8 years, that's what we agreed to, I'm leaving. No. Shu'aib was kind to him, so Musa is kind back to him. Now, after the 10 years, Sayyidina Musa missed his family. He wanted to see his family, his mother, his brother Harun, his sister Maryam. So he decided to take his family and travel back to Egypt. And he took off with his family with him and went in the desert going to Egypt. In the middle of the desert, all of a sudden, a storm developed. Strong wind, very cold. So he tried to build a fire. And every time he light up the fire, it dies from the wind. He kept trying over and over. It doesn't work, and they're freezing. Then he saw on the top of the mountain, he saw a fire. So he said to his family, آنس من جانب الطور نارا قال لأهلهم كثوا إني آنست نارا لعلي آتيكم منها بخبر أو جذوة من النار لعلكم تصطلون. He saw on the side of the Tur mountain, that's a mountain in Sinai. He said to his family, wait, I have seen a fire. Perhaps I may bring you from there some information or a piece of burning wood that you may warm yourselves. So he left them and climbed the mountain, the Sinai mountain. When he got to the top of the mountain, he saw a bush, and the bush was on fire, but it was not burning. The bush was on fire, not burning. And he was amazed. He went to the top of the mountain, and the storm, there is no storm. Everything is calm. Everything is quiet. And it's kind of interesting because we have to remember, in our regular life, we're going to have problems. We're going to have difficulties. We're going to feel all kinds of challenges. Always when we're away from Allah, we're going to have those difficulties. And what Allah is telling us here, if you go to Allah, if you raise your hand in dua, or raise your hand, say Allahu Akbar, and start to do 2 rak'ahs prayer, you're going to feel calmness. You're going to feel quietness. Everything is going to be fine. When he went to Allah, the storm is gone. When he was down in the valley, the storm was difficult. So when he got to where the fire is, the bush that's burning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَلَمَّا آتَاهَا نُودِيَ يَا مُوسَى إِنِّي أَنَا رَبُّكَ فَاخْلَعْ عَلَيْكَ إِنَّكَ بِالْوَادِ الْمُقَدَّسِ طُوًى. And when he came to it, he was called, O Musa, I am your Lord, so take off your shoes. You are in the sacred valley, Tuwa. That's the name of the sacred valley. But from here we can learn why when we do prayer in the masjid, we take off our shoes. Allah told Sayyidina Musa, when he's in his presence, take off your shoes. So when we are in the presence of Allah, whenever we raise our hand and we say Allahu Akbar to start prayer, you are in the presence of Allah. So you have to be without your shoes. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Sayyidina Musa 7 things. Number 1, I have chosen you. Number 2, listen to what will be revealed. Number 3, I am Allah and there is no God but me. Number 4, worship me. Number 5, establish prayer. Number 6, the hour is coming but I'm hiding it. Number 7, don't let the people who do not believe in it distract you so you will be destroyed. Those are the 7 things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Sayyidina Musa. And then he told him, وَمَا تِلْكَ بِيَمِينِكَ يَا Musa. And what is that in your right hand, O Musa? He said, it's my stick. I use it to walk with it and take care of my sheep and all of that. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, قَالَ أَلْقِهَا يَا Musa. He said, throw it, O Moses. So he threw it and it changed into a huge snake, scary snake. Sayyidina Musa got frightened and ran away, scared to death. So Allah ordered him, come back. So he came back. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, pick up the stick. It's a snake, a huge snake, scary snake. And Allah is telling him, pick it up. But he obeyed. And the minute he touched the snake, it changed to stick again. And then he told him, put your hand under your arm and bring it out back. And he did. And his hand turned to very bright white. And Allah is telling us, if you obey Allah, even things look scary to you, obey Allah, it's going to be better. It's going to be fine. But obey Allah, even if it looks bad. Now, why Allah is giving him 2 things that sounds like magic? It is magic. Why is that? Because the people at the time of Egypt, they were extremely advanced in magic. Every prophet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent with them a miracle that fit the time. Sayyidina Isa had miracles in medicine. He used to cure people with leprosy, skin disease, blind, all kind of diseases. Because at the time of Sayyidina Isa, Jesus alayhi salam, they were very advanced in medicine. Sayyidina Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, Allah gave him the Quran. It was a miracle in the Arabic language. Why? Because at the time the people in Saudi Arabia, in Quraysh, were extremely eloquent and powerful in using the Arabic language. So he gave them a miracle from the same kind of things that they are advanced in. Now he's telling him his assignment. اذهب إلى فرعون إنه طغى. Go to Pharaoh, for he had indeed transgressed all bounds. He's a tyrant. He's a kafir. He thinks he's God. And he commits injustice. And he is terrorizing the people of the children of Israel. So go to him. So Sayyidina Musa said, maybe I should clarify. قال ربي إني قتلت منهم نفسا فأخاف أن يقتلون. He said, my Lord, I have killed a man among them, and I fear that they will kill me. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered him to go back. Then he understands that it's no change in that. So he raised his hand and asked Allah for certain things. He said, قال رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي. He asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for 4 things. Number 1, he said, "Oh my Lord, expand my breast." What does expand my breast means? It means give me courage, give me confidence. So I jump on that task that you gave me without any fear. And then he asked him, number 2, and ease my task for me. Make it easy. Don't make it difficult. And number 3, and loose the knot from my tongue. Sayyidina Musa had a speech problem. So if I'm going to go and invite people to you, Ya Allah, I don't want people to make fun of my speech and not listen to the message. And all I care about is my speech. So loosen that knot that's in my tongue so I can speak nicely when I'm inviting people to you. And number 4, and appoint for me a helper from my family, Harun, my brother. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him all 4. All 4 of them. And Sayyidina Musa, he gave his brother the best gift can any human being give somebody. He gave him, he asked Allah to make him a prophet. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted to make Harun a prophet. There is no better gift than that. And it's kind of interesting, if you notice what I talked about, how Sayyidina Musa was talking to Allah, we have to learn when you make a dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah wants you to say what's in your heart. That's what Sayyidina Musa did. Some of us, when we make dua, we just say memorize things. Oh, I know this is one of dua of the Prophet ﷺ, but it's not coming from your heart. Allah wants the dua to come from your heart, not from your mouth. So learn from Sayyidina Musa. Tell Allah whatever problem. Oh Allah, I lost my job. Oh Allah, I have debt. Oh Allah, I'm sick. Tell Allah what you want. Tell Him what's in your heart. And Allah will give you what you're asking for. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there is 2 people now who are prophets, Sayyidina Musa and Sayyidina Harun. Now the message changed. He's saying, اذهبا إلى فرعون إنه طغى فقولا له قولا لينا لعله يتذكر أو يخشى. Go both to Pharaoh. Now it's not Musa only. Both of you go to Pharaoh. For he has transgressed all bounds. Then speak to him a gentle word. Perhaps he may take warning or fear Allah. Look at what he's telling me. Telling them, Pharaoh is the most evil person. But he's telling them, talk to him nicely. Talk to him kindly. Sometimes we tell our friends, we give them an advice, and we use harsh language. If you're talking to Pharaoh, there is nobody more evil, and you're talking in a nice way. Why you're talking to another Muslim in a harsh way? How dare you do that? You have to talk in a gentle way. And he's teaching them how to say it. So he tells them, فأتيا فرعون فقولا إنا رسول رب العالمين أن أرسل معنا بني إسرائيل. Then come both to Pharaoh and say, we are the messenger of the Lord of the worlds. Then send with us the children of Israel. Look at the way he told them to say it. He didn't say, go to him and say, we are the messenger of your Lord. So Pharaoh will get angry and say, no, I'm not going to obey. No, he's the Lord of everybody. Not, me, you, everybody. A gentle way. And then he's telling him, he didn't say to them, go and tell him, free the children of Israel. You're evil. He said, send with us the children of Israel. Choose the word that you say. You're going to capture the heart of the people. Choose it. When you give anybody advice or even you're requesting something, choose the words and capture their hearts. Sayyidina Musa and Sayyidina Harun, they were afraid. And it's okay. There is nothing wrong about being afraid. But don't let your fear make you do the wrong things. Sayyidina Musa, when he went to Pharaoh, has 2 objectives. Number 1, that the Pharaoh believes in Allah as the only God and that he is his messenger. And number 2, to give the Israelites the freedom to leave Egypt. And Pharaoh had 2 objectives. Number 1, to remain the God of Egypt, and number two, to keep the Israelite as slave, because it's free labor. So it's wonderful. You can do everything and pay nothing. Now, Sayyidina Musa gave him the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Pharaoh is sitting in his palace surrounded by all the people, and they're listening to that conversation and the dialogue between the two. So what's Pharaoh is going to do? He didn't become Pharaoh because he's dummy. No, he's smart. So what he's going to do? He started with strategy one. Be gentle. So he said to him, "Oh Musa, we raised you from the time you were a baby, and you committed your crime and you were ungrateful." Tried to be nice with him. It didn't work on Sayyidina Musa. So then he moved to step two, higher. Strategy two, there is more than one God. So he said, قَالَ فَمَنْ رَبُّكُمَا يَا مُوسَى. He said, and who is the Lord of you two, O Musa? So there is your God and there is me. So there is two. Nothing wrong with that. It didn't work with Sayyidina Musa. So strategy three, higher. Make fun of him. So he said, فَأَوْقِدْ لِي يَا هَامَانُ عَلَى الطِّينِ فَاجْعَلْ لِي صَرْحًا لَعَلِّي أَطَّلِعُ إِلَىٰ إِلَٰهِ مُوسَى. O Haman, that's his right hand man. His name is Haman. O Haman, bake bricks out of clay and build me a tower in order that I may look at the God of Musa. Making fun of him. I'm just going to go up and talk to your God. It didn't work. Strategy four, one step higher. Insult him. He said, "You're a liar. You're a crazy man." Didn't budge. Musa didn't budge one iota. Didn't make any difference. Didn't change. Last step, strategy five, intimidation. So he said, قَالَ لَإِنِ اتَّخَذْتَ إِلَهًا غَيْرِي لَأَجْعَلَنَّكَ مِنَ الْمَسْجُونِينَ. He said, if you choose a God other than me, I will put you in prison. And another verse he said, let me kill Musa. So he scared him, but it didn't work either. So Sayyidina Musa, excuse me, Sayyidina Musa said, I have signs from Allah. So everybody's sitting. So Sayyidina Musa threw his stick and it changed to a huge snake. Everybody frightened. Everybody around the Pharaoh frightened. And then he put his hand under his arm and got it out, and it's white, very bright. So again, Pharaoh is no dummy, he's smart. He said, he is a skillful magician. He's a magician. So what do you guys think I should do? So they said, bring all the magicians from all over the country. Bring them. And then we will defeat him. And let's have a showdown with Musa. And it's going to be on the feast day. One day every year they have a huge celebration. And everybody in the town, they gather, every Egyptian, to come and have fun and entertainment. They said, on that day, we're going to have the showdown between the magicians and Musa and Harun alayhum as-salam. We'll continue the rest of the story, inshallah, next week. But I'm going to give you an interesting piece of information. Who named Sayyidina Musa, Musa? Asya, the wife of Pharaoh, when they found the baby Musa on the shore and they picked him up, she named him Musa. Musa in the ancient Egyptian language means the son of water.